Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. So quick follow on from the honing guide and narrow chisel video. Just going to show you what my procedure is for freehand. Again, because I've been doing it quite a long time, I don't really give it any thought. So it's quite interesting to reflect and to break this down. So anytime anybody sees something, they've got a question, I'll try my best to answer it. So remember, with a honing guide, there's only going to be so much that they can do for you. They're brilliant. I don't think anybody should feel uncomfortable about using them. But at some point, you might need to switch it up. Like for me, I like finding older tools like this chisel. It's so short that I can't get the projection from the Eclipse style honing guide. And same story with this one. And they're narrow. So how do I go about maintaining that? Well, again, there's going to be lots of different ways, but here's how I do it. When you see the classic demo on YouTube, you're going to be seeing people choosing to select a nice wide chisel, because what they can do with that is skew the chisel, which creates a nice level platform, and it makes the chisel's footprint even wider. Go up and down the stone using loads of quite ferocious energy, flip it over, remove the burr, slice through some paper, everyone thinks you're a legend. The intricate videos about how something might be a little bit more difficult don't really get the views and probably not quite so interesting, so you're not going to see those so often. So don't feel bad if getting to grips with some of the narrow stuff is a bit more difficult. So all I would do, same procedure as normal. And what I try and do on most of my tools is maintain a decent grind bevel. You can see that one's been refreshed quite recently. You can see this one here. This one's getting a bit long in the tooth. Could do with a freshen up. Secondary bevel's getting a bit big, but because it's narrow, I can work on it a bit easier. And you can see some people said about their sharpening bevel's not looking good. That's not going to win a beauty contest, but it's sharp where it's important, so that's all I'm worried about. So all I do is take my chisel. You just want to find that primary bevel. Again, you start at the back and rock it forwards, clunk, and it goes. Clunk, and it goes. You can just, it just feels it and it registers. And again, you just get used to coming up to that 30 or 35 and your body will just get in the groove of it. You've only got to use one hand, just light pressure. You can use circles, backwards and forwards. But you don't have to put crazy amounts of energy into it. And this is a time, because it's a narrow tool, you can use the ends of your stone rather than putting gouges into the ends of it. And again, this is why I like oil stones. You know, a softer stone might be more likely to gouge, and something really aggressive like diamonds might be just a bit aggressive. Flip it over, chase the burr off, and again, quite often I lose the thread of what I'm doing there because I'm talking at the same time. See, we've got a secondary bevel there on the edge. Not showing up particularly well, but yeah, there we go. You can see it. See if I can get you in a different angle this time. And with the narrow chisel, which is even narrower, same thing. I'm just kind of holding it all in through like that. And it's just a whole deal of just grabbing it in, getting yourself to feel comfortable, and you shouldn't need to put much work in. Keep things trued up as you go. These are all bits of great little muscle memory, and that's kind of all it is. It's just imprinting these basic movements in the body. And it's much easier doing these small motions than it is to go up and down and up and down, because what's easy to do with a narrow chisel is all of a sudden it will dig in, maybe flip forwards, then you've messed up the whole edge, or it digs in and it rounds around. And again, if secondary bevels go off on the skew a little bit, it's not exactly the end of the world. Just chase the burr off. And then if you're looking for that little bit of extra, you can always just polish it off. And again, leather is a great choice for this. I just like to use this block of wood for some of these early videos I'm doing, just to show you don't have to do anything too complicated. I think there's some in a museum somewhere. I think there's a lump of wood from India, I think it is, with an abrasive in the surface. I think it's like a round piece of wood that people use to sharpen tools on. So having a bit of abrasive in a bit of wood, it's not exactly a new idea. And then just give it a little test. Say, and don't beat yourself up if these things take a little bit longer to get used to them. Who cares, you know? Remember, your old school indentured apprenticeships were like for 7 years. You know, if you're doing it just now and again, don't be too hard on yourself. That's perfectly acceptable. Okay. Same with that, it's just all fine. All dandy. So I wish I had some miracle for you, but it's just a case of persevering. If the secondary bevels, if everything doesn't look clinical and the same, that could be something that maybe you think, well, maybe I'm not bothered. As long as it's sharp and I can control my tool, that's good enough. So I hope that's given you a bit of information to think about, and yeah, see you soon.